Welcome to PAO Fans International podcast. Got the Australians on. We got Nick, Panatha Fan, and myself. Welcome, fellas. We've enjoyed a really good result earlier this morning, um, with the cup game. But before we speak about the cup game, we'll talk about the league game against Ceres. But let's check in with everyone. How you going, Nick? How you going, Panatha Fan?
I'm on top of the world, still absolutely buzzing. It's still the same day for us in Australia. I'm just loving the winning feeling and the fact that we can go into games now feeling so confident in the coach and the players again. And the one question I have for you guys is, how was your burrata this morning? Was
Actually,
it sweet? Was it sweet?
I actually had it last night for Valentine's dinner, so there was a bugatti on the menu which I got, so it was really good.
So for me, the Bulgasa doesn't go for that. It's dinner that I'm about to have as well. So, no, look, I'm feeling very pleased with the fact that we had a derby win last week. We had a win on a weekend, although that in theory shouldn't be a loss or a draw, but a big win away as well. We're on the right track.
Yeah.
Remember last time we were on, we were saying it's the make or break week. The Americans covered it. We passed it with flying colors. Now we're proper flying. And as I've said, we're not at 100% yet. Wait until we get to 100%. Wait until Forty comes back and he finds his feet with Dasso. It's going to be scary come the playoffs. What this team's capable of.
Yeah. The last podcast we talked about, it is a make or break. We knew it was going to, you know, going to impact the rest of the season. So there was the cup game and the derby. And we passed both with flying colours. So now we're here and we've come so far since those two losses against the first leg against Atromitos and then the PAOK game, which, we deserve to lose that one, and then just the transformation from those games. And we'll kick it off with the game on the weekend. It was Panatha Panserraikos, played away from home. We did end up winning that one 3-0 against Ceres. Um, the goals came from Verbic in the 8th minute from a corner, the header. Palacios in the 31st minute. When Bernard stole the ball from the defender, really lackluster awareness there from their defender. Bernard pinched the ball, played Palacios through, and just slotted it through. And 91st minute, Lord Jeremejeff somehow, parody of a goal. Limnios did all the hard work, teed up Mancini, strikes off Jeremejeff, who just happened to stand in the way, and he gets counted the goal. So in the 91st minute, 2 minutes after coming on, which it was a parody of a goal, but it went in the back of the net, and he gets to claim it. How do you guys find the result, performances, everything like that?
I, I was not slightly worried when I saw the squad that we are going to send up to set us for the game. Then the match day, the actual starting 11 came out. You think, shit, this is not going to be straightforward at all. Can these guys hack it? They passed the test with flying colours. No doubt, the early goal helped. And Bernard, after he got subbed off against Olympiacos, he said to Terim, "Now is the time for us to become champions." And he's playing with that at the forefront of his mind because he was instrumental in this game. He made things happen for us. The second goal was Palacios as he pressed, stole the ball, won it, fed Palacios. Again, moved the ball quickly. Nice finish for Palacios. The Verbic goal, as I said, it was crucial getting that early goal. And then academic from there, said as Panserraikos said, one chance they had, they hit the post. That was about it. Pretty comfortable, all in all.
I think for me, it's become almost like a tradition in these podcasts that I have to mention Yeremeyev's goal to minute ratio. And what does he do? And yet again, he doesn't let me down. And I look forward to future podcasts where I'm saying exact same thing. So apologies to all the listeners for being repetitive, but I love being repetitive about this guy.
And he improved it as well because he got the one goal in like 7 minutes that he played. So,
And he didn't shoot.
And he didn't even have to try for it. That's the thing. Goals just fall off him. That's the goal to minute ratio for this guy. It's just it's a never ending. I would say a laughing matter because hey, what I'm smiling about. Look, Nick, I think you summed it up really well. I was worried about the team in terms of start 11, and I was worried about the back line in
Yes,
particular.
centre backs.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was probably my biggest concern because everyone else sort of played in their positions throughout the season and even seasons before, but that back line still is finding itself. And fair to say, they didn't really cause too much concern. So it's good to know that they're slowly starting to pass the test in terms of being a backup option. And I still think that Arao and Yedvai are our starting two centre backs, in my opinion. But yeah, in terms of this game, that was probably the highlight for me, outside of the result, obviously.
yeah, I found the performance a really professional performance. Is the way I put it. Heavily rotated. I think Victor Hugo has been proving me slightly wrong. I wasn't overly excited when we were linked to him. Think his presence there was good. Akaiden, few question marks. He's big, strong presence, but he's seems very clumsy. I think he's too big for his own good, essentially. That's probably my only doubt. But overall performance, really professional. I think that lineup there was question marks where will the goal come from? And how we're going to stop the goals up there. ZS are traveling pretty decent. Teams have dropped points against them in terms of the big teams.
Like Olympiacos.
Yeah,
Mm.
it was a tricky test. A Pablo Garcia well-drilled team, but we showed them that they did nothing. Yeah, an old coach used to say to me, "Let them shoot from outside the box all day." One goes in, it's a screamer, but that's what we limited pretty much their chances to outside the box. One of the chances hit the crossbar, but yeah, nothing eventuated from that. We were really threatened, and Bernard was outstanding. Like, from the corner, which was the opening goal, they don't get credited as assists. I don't understand why, but you know, that was a brilliant well whipped corner. Verbic got up very well to put that in. Then, Bernard again just stealing the ball. Just that high IQ that he's got. He's really turned it on since announcing his departure from the club in for the upcoming summer. He's showing like a real winner's mentality that he's there to win. Like he's there to give it all. Yeah, quite contrast to say, um, another player that's exiting the club, and their lack of professionalism that they've displayed. Um, and then, the third goal came, we saw a little bit more glimpse of what Limnios can offer. Um, so hopefully he gets that confidence, he gets that playing time as well, because we're seeing now Limnios coming to the fray. And we'll talk about players later on in the segment, but there is, we're seeing his confidence slightly rising now with that, while you're seeing other players not meeting expectation to the Terim expectation, essentially. But overall, very good performance from the team. Professional, 3-0, got the job done. No fans still allowed in that game, but there were fans
Yeah.
the balconies, and they climbed on the stadium, so watching from the net, so which was pretty funny. They had this like couple of boring old chants, but same chants, but yeah, good result there.
The fact that we can go to a tough place to play, like it's essentially a Khorafi, it was windy. The fact that we can go there and rotate and win that comfortably again speaks volumes for the work that's being done at the moment.
Yeah.
But
Because
I was
these
also
guys are going to be counted on come playoffs. Not as a collective, but here and there in the odd game, we're going to have 2 games a week where you're going to need a few of these guys to step in.
but the big risk was though that we came off a big win against Olympiacos.
Yes,
Playing PAOK today, so easily could take the foot off the pedal or not focus on this game. It was a major danger game for that reason as well. But no, as you said, Sturge, they were just professional the way I went about it.
Yeah, the pitch wasn't in great condition. It just looked like dead grass, not well maintained. So boys did well. Was pleased with that. Then it led to the I could sleep comfortably knowing that I don't have to worry to watch what happens with the PAOK game, even though that result fell in our favor with the draw. PAOK got a last minute equalizer there to help us. I think that was the ideal result as well.
for sure.
Yeah, which we played in Thessaloniki there. Come back to Athens, then we go back to Thessaloniki for the first leg of the cup game, against PAOK, where we won 1-0 courtesy of a 53rd minute goal from Sporter. The goal came from well played. It started from Drakowski, went long. We won the ball back, and then our combinations, and it's something that I'll discuss shortly as well. The combinations all got to work. What Terim has set out. Pretty much quite a few players were involved in that build up. I'd say Seren was big. For me, the big player as well was the guy that scored the goal, but it wasn't that play that he scored the goal that you know that made the play. There was that pass that he did, that first time pass.
What's that?
Yes, to Cortinas. So
Yeah,
Bakasetas, I
yeah.
think Bakasetas that played Spora, and Spora just first time he knew where Cortinas was. He knew the space that Cortinas had. Cortinas was by himself at the edge of the box with all the time in the world, and he just whips in that first time cross. So that that ball really caught Bulk by surprise. That pace that he put it on just gave Cortinas all the time in the world, and then Bernard won the header. Keeper saved it. Seren was there but couldn't get a foot on it. He looked off balance, and then Sporter was there to just smack it in home. So well put goal. What do you guys think of the game?
Take it away, Panatha. You go first this time.
I was going to say that, look, overall, it was hard to pick a player that didn't perform or didn't had a bad game. I think it was another really good, solid team effort. And that's even with our keeper, Drakowski, who made some really big saves. We talked about it briefly before we started the podcast around a couple of moments there where he really stood out. But overall, I'm very pleased with it. PAOK had their chances. They were threatening. So we can't say that it was dominant and we cruised home. There's some nervous moments there. Could have easily been 1-1. Certainly after we scored, that PAOK lifted the intensity. But we kept our composure. We still played good football. I love the way we're passing the ball around, but I also like the fact that the movement off the ball seems to have improved. And if you watch, and I'm sure you guys already seen that, that replay of the goal from behind the goals for Drakowski, where from the first pass right up to the goal, you're just seeing some of those movements off the ball with Takunaki, where it plays them through and all that. There's good movement. That movement is what caught PAOK off and, led to the goal. And that's what impresses me the most. The movement off the ball, great drilling from Terim. I'm going to give him credit for this. You can really see the reward coming through in terms of how he's training him, how he's drilling him.
They don't call him the Emperor for no reason.
I'm definitely giving him credit for that. I mean, who else are you gonna give him credit, right? If there was one player that's lifted his game, yep, all right, you give that player credit. But if he's seeing it across the board,
Yeah,
it's coming from only one place.
it's so many things, isn't it? Because we had that bad loss that we dissected back then, our last episode when we were on, when we lost the PAOK in the league, and day and night, the difference.
Yep. And so they responded in the perfect way. And it wasn't
Yeah.
like it wasn't like PAOK had a weak team on a pitch either. Okay, there's a couple of changes to the starting 11, but overall though, it's a pretty good. I mean, we've always said they've had a strong squad and they can have a very strong starting 11. I wouldn't say that it was weak at all.
Who was Costandelias was sick. He had a virus or the flu or
Virus,
something.
if I remember, yeah.
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 He's doesn't see a lot of minutes.
Yeah, he would have come off the bench, I
Yeah.
reckon. Yeah.
What about yourself, Nick? What do you think?
Just further to what I said before, the big key takeaway from this is the quick, not only the turnaround, how quick we've turned it around. When we went up there in the league and lost 2-1, flattered us a bit. Like Bulk had a lot of chances. We were very open. We played the high line. It got exposed almost overnight. That was when the switch flicked for Terim, and he's thought, shit, I've underestimated this league. I've got to go back to basics a little bit more and play into this team's strengths. And ever since he's done that, we've just gone like that, taken off to new levels completely. The off the ball movement was great, but the fact that we were sitting a bit deeper, when you go to Tumba, you also got to limit the amount of chances Bulk have. And we did that. In fairness, you look at the chances they came. There was one. They had the first chance of the game. Then they had to wait until like just before half time. Then they had the header. That was a great save by the keeper. I'll get onto the keeper. And then the double deflection, which if it didn't take the deflections, it's not even a chance like that. It's comfortably saved. We did well to limit them to only a handful of chances. And the fact that we were able to control the game, dictate it, and played on our terms. And Bulk are a physical team, and we're not. We're more technically gifted, quicker, and that's where the goal came from. That quick ball movement, and that completely sent Bulk into sixes and sevens. They didn't know where to look. The heel, the setting, the pass, as we said, Sporar to Kotsiras, the fullback at the time, bombing on. The player I wanted to mention, the keeper, Dragovski. The save, that save especially phenomenal, because as we said before we started recording, that was definitely goal bound. Great save. His distribution as well in this game. For me, if he's not man of the match, he's second behind Jedvaj. His distribution also, if you look at the first chance we had, it was a ball that, again, we moved it quick. It came from him straight through. It ended up with a Bernard chance in the first half. And this goal came from him again, from the back. Phenomenal. We also said Jedvaj, the improvement there. We'll get on to the individual improvement, but it's either Dragovski or Jedvaj, man of the match in this game. Phenomenal. It's like we're seeing a new player reborn.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, Panatha, we didn't go into our shell. I was a bit upset that Sporar couldn't make it 2-0.
And at that time, I was like, geez, you're a 6-yard box. How can he miss?
Yeah.
But the way he actually got the ball with his back to the goal, turned it with two players right next to him, and got that shot in. You got to give him credit for that. I mean, begrudgingly, because I'm still questioning whether he's the starting material. But that chance, he created it really well. It was just a shame that the keeper made an awesome save too. Let's give their
He's a good keeper.
credit.
Yeah, he's a very good keeper.
Got to give him credit for that save. The way 6-yard box, got down low and stopped it in the bottom corner. Full credit.
Yeah, I'm gonna own that. I had doubts about Jakowski. I wasn't too impressed by his CV. He was playing in Serie B for a team that is likely going to get dropped to Serie C. He got benched, so my expectations of him I was not impressed. He's another one that has really surprised me. Big save from the corner. He got the hand onto it and punched it away. He's a physical presence. You can tell coming out, punching the ball, both feet, can utilize both feet, so helps with any playing the ball, which helps, playing from the back. He was outstanding. He didn't know much about that last minute shot that got the double deflection, hit the post, because sort of came back like off him from the face. Like, I don't think he expected that. So he did play well. My top three players would have been, him, and Seren. I think Jedvaj was phenomenal. and we'll talk. Yeah, I know I'm saying this a lot. We'll talk about players soon, but in terms of the match, and Alex put a post on behalf of the PAO Fans International account on X/Twitter. It's something that we discussed. What Terim's attacking build play. That's how we're getting the goals. He uses the 10 Bakasetas as more of a right wing player. And he builds like a triangle. Um, he builds like a triangle attack. So between Bakasetas, Palacios, and Cortidas, uses those triangles. And then on the left-hand side, he had Mladenovic, Seren, and Bernard, very effective in the ball movement. So there was multiple times we're building up some nice plays using those triangle combinations and that movement. I was a bit worried on the left backs lineup when we had either Mladenovic or Juanca. I honestly thought we might go wild cutting. Gortinas might get that spot just to contain Despodov, because Despodov absolutely tortured us last time. Mladenovic got the nod and kept the Despodov quiet, which was good. Gave him no space, no ball. Eventually, he came off. He was ineffective today. Mladenovic also did a major play where chased him down as well, and I mean got that crucial tackle. I think it was on Despodov. It was on the bulk player, but they broke through. It was almost 1-on-1, and Mladenovic from our own corner, and they just came flying through. It was almost 1-on-1. So yeah, Mladenovic played solid. We have to talk, about the game and the events. The second half was very fiery. So the first half, quite timid, baffling officiating decisions. They would tackle us pretty harshly, not give anything. Gedvai does one sort of tackle, gets an instant yellow on something that didn't seem really really that harsh at all. The foul, it was a foul, just like a soft foul, but it gave instant yellow. It's like what? So kind of knew the direction that the game was going. Then in the second half, really started firing off. We got Bakasetas got sent off with an exchange with Tyson. Couple of headbutts exchange. Bakasetas, bit of theatrics, fell on the ground. But both grabbed each other's necks. The red cards are red cards for both players. No arguments there. Then later on, there was the incident where the ball went out. The ball boys were all there. All their players are off the bench. Quickly threw the ball to the player. Mladenovic, I don't know what happened now. I think he sticks his foot out at Zivkovic. Then Brandon grabs him and throws him on the ground. Zivkovic didn't do anything. Gets a yellow. Mladenovic gets a yellow. Brandon gets away with it. I don't know if it was a case of mistaken identity. I think their reserve keeper got a yellow. Just it happened all in front of the linesman as well. So I don't get how he doesn't call anything like that. Dumba became obviously a bit hostile, but Terim did say after the game that it felt like a home game at times. So because we got Lucescu, the crybaby, the Romanian gypsy, always crying against Panathinaikos, always having a cry, whenever we play them. It's like, a PAO fan or a PAO player has slept with his wife or his sister or something, or his mum. He's just got this vendetta against the club. While on the weekend they played AEK, Vida should have gotten sent off and he doesn't say anything. So you know what kind of a weasel he is as well. Just an absolute weasel. And it's good that we got the result and beat them in the first leg. And it is the first leg, and there is no away goals. Bakasetas looks likely to get 2 games from what the incidents, just like when you look at what the the category that it goes in. It looks like it's in the second category. Now, I don't know if it's inclusive of all games or if it's cup games. So if it's cup games, he'll miss the final. If it's um all games, he'll miss this weekend's Lamia, which I don't think it's too much of a big loss for this game. I think we can afford to rest him, but the second game against PAOK probably would have loved him in there, but we know he's definitely going to miss that one. But yeah,
It's a harsh penalty. I mean, it was stupid what both players did. There was no need for it. But I was surprised to see red. And both players were guilty of being idiots. Both players were going at each other. Like I said, didn't need to fall down, in my opinion. So, but a red card. I mean, I don't know. I saw it. I'm like, that's not a red. Seriously, come on.
He just wanted to regain control.
I kind of saw the red coming. I kind of see it. I saw it coming. You know, grabbing the necks, just headbutting. Like you just know straight away it's gonna come. So I wasn't too shocked to be honest, but performance wise, yeah, good performance. I gave too much of a break, but yeah, it was a good performance overall. And you did nail it, Panatha Fan. I think the game could have easily gone over either way. No one dominated the match. Both teams had their opportunities and their chances. We were the fortunate ones to get the goal. Big change, especially from the original game 2 weeks ago compared to now. But yeah, very happy. You just see the adjustments that Terim has brought into his to his game plan, everything like that, his management, and it's working wonders. The team's responding to it. There's a lot of belief now that the team can challenge for the championship. So you're right, Bernard did say that after the Olympiacos game, like we can win it. Like this is the time. And also going to Dumba, it's a major psychological damage that we've just given them. They drew against AEK at home, and we've gone there and beaten them in the cup game, and we're not too far off from the playoffs where we will have to go back to Dumba. So they'll be thinking about that, and they've got Olympiacos this weekend, which is pending if that game's going to go ahead because we'll discuss it shortly while we focus on this game. But yeah, we're seeing some really good build-ups and adjustments in Terran game plan going from game to game.
Yeah, he does his homework. Not only on us, on the opposition. It shows.
But is it him? He's got a few guys on the bench, quite a few younger guys on the bench. If you see him, ponytails, big.
Yeah, you know who he is.
Nah, no, I don't.
He used to play. So I've looked him up. If you go on his Instagram, you'll see him and Terim. It's like like a father something. Basically, they're that close. Like when he had him as a player at Galatasaray, they were super close, and that sort of continued over time. And he was his assistant at Galatasaray as well after he retired.
So he's part of the package.
Yeah. Full on.
Yeah.
He's a striker. He played for their national team and everything.
Okay, well, you played at a very good level then.
Yeah, the only overseas thing he did was Spain, very briefly, La Liga.
Either way, though, if he was playing for the national team, he must have produced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a big loss for the next game. I wouldn't say he was man in the match today, but it's just his presence though on the ground. And when he gets the ball, you know he's going to make the right decision. And we're going to start taking that for granted. But it's been plenty of times in the past where a midfielder's got the ball and just makes the wrong decision. We just waste an opportunity to create something. And his calmness, his presence on the ground means a lot. So, yeah, that's what makes me most nervous for the return leg, not having him. And I know PAOK's lost Tyson.
Who's done very well this season for him.
So that's a loss too. But I think, like I said, for us is crucial.
Yeah.
I said it at the time with Bakasetas. Yeah, look, I can see he's given the ref a decision to make. For me, he stuffed up by getting involved. We're winning 1-0. The game's drawing to an end. Walk away. Point to the
Hmm.
scoreboard. Have some banter with him. Don't get sucked into stupid things like that. We're in front.
Yep.
Then you're giving the referee a decision to make, whether it's red or yellow. It shouldn't have gone into that stage. The one that for me that was worse was the Brendan Thomas incident. That all infuriated me. I was waiting for a red card there.
Yeah, I was expecting a card for him, and when he didn't get shown, I couldn't believe it. It was just,
I just wanted to jump through the TV.
yeah, it like we said, it is the first leg. There is the return leg in Athens. And we might as well just straight away jump into the preview there. It will be played in, obviously, in Greece. Welcome, Bulk, to Greece. Played in Athens. Um, that's the game that Forty is rumored to be playing in. His return was speculated in the media or in spaces on X that that's the game that Forty will make his return in. So he'll be rested for the Lamia game if he gets a few minutes off the bench just to find his feet. But it's the bulk return leg game that is going to come back to. The disappointing thing is we're delayed in seeing the Bakasetas Forty combination. Something that we're all wanting to see. Really close teammates in the Greek national team setup. As I've always said, Forty is excellent player that brings players into the game around him, as opposed to Sporta and Jeremejeff, where they're the end product to the goal. You're not really going to see many assists from them, but Forty is someone that brings everyone around him into the game. Would be interesting once those combinations as all comes out. But yeah, no away goal rule, so we are up
Yeah.
1-0. As long as we avoid defeat, we will go into the final, which will be between
Artist,
and
Panatha.
yeah, and Artis have a 1-0 advantage as
Our
well.
former player.
Away win, yeah, but he the stuff that he said when he
Yeah. I know.
about Panserraikos, but he had no regrets. He's just sucking up getting game time now. Just needed the contract. But yeah, the bulk game. It's going to be difficult. There's no easy game. Bulk have gotten results against us in Leoforos the last few games, 2-2 draw. In the playoffs last year, we drew also 1-2. That's where Bart got sent off stupidly. Even prior to that, I think we lost in the cup. We played
In the
them
cup, 3-0 or something.
3-0. So that's got to show and highlight that it's not an easy game coming up against them, even if it's in Leoforos. Park will be up to it. It's up to, again, the tactics, the combinations that Terim has set out that it gets deployed. There's no
Yeah.
doubt that they're going to be bang for blood bulk, but albeit in our home fans this time.
You change this starting 11 much?
No,
I mean, obviously we got to replace Bakassetta, so that's the
Our
first
starting
change.
11 or theirs?
Ours.
Ours or 40 if he's fit.
yeah, the rumor is Forty will play that game. I'm not too sure in what capacity, if it's a starting role, but that's the game he's going to play in. Obviously, Bakasetas out. I'd have Bernard in the 10, and
Yep.
I'd bring Verbic on that left wing.
Yep. Spot on.
I'd love to see Verbic in a derby where equally match their hot-headedness. I think he's going to cause chaos. Whether it's a positive chaos or a negative chaos, there will be chaos. And I think that's the kind of guy I would love to have in a derby. And then, we talk about Bakasetas, his presence going to be missed. But yeah, Bart's been relegated. He's played the last 5 minutes in both the last two games, which he has been dropped lately. but a leadership that we've seen is Ruben since the
Olympiacos.
The Olympiacos game, yeah.
Even the
No, Atromitos.
even since the Atromitos game, yeah, he's really stepped it up. His leadership has surprised me. You can tell, yeah, aging. He's not getting those long balls. You're not seeing those long balls anymore. But defensively and decision making, he's just been phenomenal. These last few.
Leadership too. That Bakasetas incident. I don't know if you saw. You get Vi on a yellow card, comes running in. Who was there to defuse it and push him away? Ruben Perez.
Yeah. Yes. Ruben has been quite good. We've been a bit critical. We know he's aged. Everyone knows he's aged. But his smarts have improved. He's making better decisions as well, and it's benefiting the team. He's pretty much back in that main first 11, if you
Yeah,
want
he's starting. Yeah.
if you want to call it like a main first 11. He's The good thing about that is he's got that, and Adal's been probably arguably better as a centre back as compared to that six role as well. Even though Adal naturally is a CDM, a six, he can play that centre back role, and he's probably been playing that centre back role more efficiently. So Ruben's been outstanding, and this is you got to pay credit to Terim for that as well. So if we'll do the other previews, then we'll talk about the players. So Bulk at
You
home.
think with Falk, they're gonna come needing to score, so they're gonna leave space for us to expose.
And that's where I think Sturge is spot on. Verbic on the left, where if we're playing on a counter, which no doubt we will, he's my first choice, no question. I mean, I'd certainly pick him over Aitor.
Yeah,
based on recent form. I think Mancini had a good chance actually,
He did.
which he created totally by himself. Where he passed a couple of players and had a shot. Now it was a tight angle, so it was a difficult one. But even the way he took that shot, we tried to get the keeper through the legs. He did well, so I don't mind him being the first option behind Palacios.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I would opt for Verbic, just that chaos that he brings. He can hold the ball up a little bit well as well as a like a skillful kind of attacking or winger. He can track back as well. I think he'll do a better job than Mancini. I'd leave Mancini, just hold him off until it's that 60th minute, see how we're tracking in the game. If we need just pace, just for disruption up front, the pressing as well. But what are we predicting for? Are we happy to go predictions for the PAOK Cup game?
yeah. 1-1.
I was about to say the same thing.
1-1, and we progress to the final. No extra time.
I'm going to say a 1-0 win to us. And as tempted as I am to say that Yeremeyev's going to come on in the 85th minute and score a goal, I'd say it's more going to be an Aral header.
I'm going 1-1. I'm going 1-1, and I think Palacios for me.
We'll take either one.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's obviously next. I think Wednesday night Greece time, Thursday morning. Australia, America will be Wednesday afternoon.
Kickoff's 4 a.m. for us on the Thursday morning.
Yeah. It's, for those in Australia, welcome to the unfriendly times again, and bit of a fixture congestion. Talking about fixtures, our next league game will be in Greece. It will be on a Saturday night. It will be our first home game with fans since the stadium bans. In Australia, it will be Sunday morning. In America, it will be Saturday afternoon. It is against Lamia. We're traveling very well. They are currently sitting in sixth, 2 points behind Aris in fifth, and 4 points behind Asteras in seventh for that crucial top six spot for once the playoffs come through. So Lamia is sitting very nicely. How are we feeling about that?
I'm actually worried about our old friend Carlitos,
Yeah.
who's in form right now. He's scoring goals. No doubt you want to have a point to prove against his old club, right? So that does worry me. And it worries me more because I think we can see that the squad's going to be rotated again, and we'll probably go back to Victor, Hugo, and Caden as centre backs based on what we've seen. And that's as much as they did well against setters, there's no concerns. I'm still a bit nervous about that.
I think they can hold their own against Carlitos. He's not overly pacey player.
No,
He scored against us, didn't he? Earlier in the season?
He
he
did.
did,
Yeah,
he
I
did.
remember that. I remember.
No,
Um,
he's definitely
We
not
struggled.
pacey. He's definitely not pacey.
No.
He's got the skills, got the smarts when he wants to.
We struggled against them in the reverse fixture away. It was we won, but only just.
Yep, you're right.
yeah,
It's and the fact that you said that we're going to rotate makes this. They've been one of the surprise teams of the season, so full credit to them and their coach Vokolos, our former player. It's just that we saw the green shoots up at Cetus where we rotated and won, and the fact now it's going to be played at it. Hopefully, I'd imagine it's going to be a sold out Leoforos, which will make a big difference.
yeah, I've got no doubt we'll be sold out.
See,
First back, we're traveling very well. New coach. I think the fans will be behind the coach as well.
Yeah,
Team, which is positive. Not too sure what the reception will be towards Alafouzos, but he did orchestrate this, so it will be interesting what the reception of that will be. But it,
I I think the any bad feeling about Ivan's gone. After these wins and Terim now being popular, I can't see the fans really causing any major dramas.
yeah, no, and he's attended a couple of basketball games as well, so he's trying to make himself be with the fans as well. So
Mm.
there is that. Um, yeah, last time we played Lamia, we won 2-1. Sporter scored in the last minute. That was a frustrating game because the officiating this season has been really shocking, really shocking. And that game, Arao got a red card. It was just ridiculous. I think it was the second yellow. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was, I'm pretty sure it was the high foot where the player, it was nowhere near the player. And the referee just gave him a red or his second yellow. And then, yeah, we just somehow got that goal. I think it was a Sporter header from close range to seal it. The 3 points. Lamia will be tricky, like we said. They're traveling very well. They recently beat their main rivals on the ladder positioning wise. Asteras Tripolis 2-1. Um, they've got they're well coached. They've got Vokolos, who is one of our former players as well. He's someone that I tout to have a good future in coaching. I would have liked him at Panathinaikos when all that coaching drama issues. I really think he can develop to be a good coach. When you look at the stats wise though for Lamia, they're sitting in the negative goal difference. And with that, they have that similar form against to Panserraikos. Take away last week's results, they'd be very, very close. Um, so I think we're going to see a similar style opponent, but they're going to sit way more back in
Mm.
Milforos. So it's going to be up to those combinations to break away, and I think we'll see a heavily rotated squad. There's no doubt that you're going to see players like Verbiage playing this game. Maybe Mancini, probably most likely Jeremejeff as well, get the nod for it. We're going to see a tricky game, but I do expect us to get all 3 points in this one. There's not many games left when you look at the ladder. 4 games left to go for the season, right before the playoffs. So every game here counts.
Uh, If we if you looked at the games that our competitors are playing, in terms of who they've got in the last 4 games versus ours?
PAOK, especially PAOK.
PAOK's got the hardest run. Us with Ike have arguably the easiest runs.
Yeah.
So if you let's go over the last 4 rounds between PAOK, Olympiacos, us, and Ike. So in this match round, Panathinaikos, Lamia, Ike, Kivisia, Ike should get the 3 points, and you got PAOK, Olympiacos, which is a question mark if that game's going ahead. So what happened earlier today, and there should be a result, and that result will come out obviously after the record or before the finish of this podcast, in terms of once it gets uploaded, that the game to be postponed so Olympiacos can focus and be rested for Europe. Bulk have agreed, but it's up to the league to approve it. It's absolutely ridiculous because this hasn't really been done before, and we're playing Lamia on shorter rest and then have the cup game as well. So absolutely ridiculous that this is occurring. Then we go to the next round, match day 24. I have to travel to Lamia, which is not a kind place to go to. Bulk go to Panetolikos. Olympiacos host Asteras Tripolis, which could be tricky. And we have Kifisia at home, which I'm expecting the points. Match day 25. Ike host Yanina, which expecting an Ike win. Panserraikos have PAOK. Now, depends if Panserraikos will just give PAOK the win or not. Olympiacos have to go to Panetolikos, and we host Aris. That will be a tricky game because Aris is on a bit of a up.
Yep.
And in the final match day, we've got to go to Crete for Orphe, who are in all sorts. They've got a solid squad on paper, but they've just sacked their coach. PAOK have a tricky game away at Lamia. Olympiacos host Volos, and Ike has the tricky last game, Aris away. So
I think the Addis away game for AEK it's a major danger game. And whilst we played Adi the week before at home, that is definitely potential for drop points from AEK's point of view. But for the rest of the AEK games, you think that before all goes to plan, they'll get their 3 points. But you're right about PAOK. Lamia away, Olympiacos at home. There's 2 games they can easily drop points in out of the 4. They could quickly fall off that top spot pretty easily.
yeah, and if you look at the ladder, Bulks first, we're only 1 point behind them. Ike is 1 point behind us. It's really close. It's a 3-way horse, and depends on what Olympiacos does as well. Can they re-enter the horse race, or is it too far for them? They've got their new coach. Let's see what happens there as well.
So they're how many points behind us, Olympiacos?
So as it stands, PAOK's on 51, Panathinaikos on 50, Ike 49, Olympiacos 44.
So, and I'm not going to go into too much analysis, but if Olympiacos lose against PAOK, let's say the game goes ahead and they play and they lose, and we win when it's 9 points gap.
9 ahead, and Bulk will be 10 ahead. That would virtually mean their season's over in terms of championship. They're not closing.
That's why they're going to come out and play if the bulk game is this weekend.
It's a danger game for PAOK, no question.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah, but Olympiacos will be playing a European game and then having to go to Tumba to play that game on less rest compared to PAOK, who PAOK have kind of rested their players. Despodov came off early, Zivkovic came off early, which then makes you wonder why they would agree to postponement of the game. They've rested some key players. So
Either way, ball's in our court as far as you know. I think we said in our previous podcast, if we're 3 points behind top spot going into the playoffs, we'll be okay with that. We're 1 point away, and with 4 games that really we should win.
yeah. While I'd argue we've got the easiest run home, 3 home games.
Yep. Now, Adi at home is probably our most difficult, but yeah, definitely it's within our control. So if we're 1 point behind, I'm not going to complain. If the ladder stays the way it is right now, come into the regular season, I'm not going to be too upset.
No,
But I actually think now it is every chance we should be on top
I think
based on that fixture.
I think I'm gaining confidence that we can actually win the championship. I think there's a lot of belief that we can win it now.
So, but it's all going to happen in the playoffs. I mean, either way, it's going to be pretty tight. Certainly, Olympiacos is a question mark whether they're going to be there or not. But amongst the three, it's going to be very tight, and it's going to be one hell of an interesting playoff season.
Yeah, yeah.
More full on than last year.
I
And
think so.
and I think the refereeing has gone downhill, especially the international refs that they've brought in.
Yeah.
Really lost the plot.
But if you go back to last year, where our form was really coming off going into playoffs, we had that 11 point gap at the top, and slowly in the second half of the season that fell away to nothing.
We opened it up a bit again, and then in the playoffs we just was it 2 wins. I think we only got.
we crashed and burned. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
Whereas now the form, I know it's still 4 games to go regular season, there's a long way to go, but the form line is there for us.
and the depth as well.
Yeah, we're getting in more of out of our bench, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, a lot is to credit to Terim, and there's obviously player transformations that we've seen improvements. We've seen Jedvai outstanding. I know you weren't too much of a fan of him, Panatha fan, but he's really picked it up since Terim's arrival. He got those 2 consecutive games where he got goals. He's really picked it up. Dragowski, obviously, can't say Terim's credit, but it's smart to bring him in. I've seen Ruben really picking up his game, really doing well. But there's a couple of others that haven't done so. But before I got that, Jeremy Jeff is getting game time. He's scoring goals. He's getting game time. He's getting rewarded. We weren't really seeing that with Yova. He got the goal against PAOK, and the following game he got the goal, but never saw action after that, which was a bit of a head scratcher. You usually reward players when they score 2 goals, especially 2 games in a row. But as I was saying, there's players that haven't really done well, but he is the club captain. Terim announced that he's been demoted to 4th choice. Listening to a couple of spaces on X, there's talk about his attitude. He's really coasted through. Maybe privilege, thinking privilege. He's got the privilege because he's captain. Never wanting to play that left centre back role, forcing other players to go there. Not really assisting with the team. I've always argued I don't think he's got leadership attributes or qualities, but I don't think he's been playing bad enough to be demoted to that 4th choice. I think he's definitely ahead playing style of Akaidin, which is a bit sad. And then there's another one as well. It was a great thread. I think it was Sergio Macarian, a friend of mine. Hopefully he's listening to the podcast. Named obviously after our former coach Sergio Macarian. He did a thread, I believe it was his thread on Aitor, where we see what Aitor's going through now is similar to what he went through when he first came to the club, where he wasn't mentally in a strong place. So if you know the history of Aitor, he was a Barcelona youth, he played in Holland. We brought him in under Boyatos and then Bologna. He wasn't enjoying life. He wanted out. Yova played mind games with him, told him he can leave. He's not good enough. And Aitor just fought for his place and transformed. So he became mentally strong. And since that injury, he's come back. He scored a couple of goals. One goal made team of the week, but I don't think he's been good at all. I think he may have taken his position again for granted under Yova, but under Terim he's been dropped completely. So I think that's another attitude issue where he's kind of given up for now. He's obviously gone through quite a bit as well in his personal life. But you're a professional footballer as well. Just trying to not be insensitive. But that's that stuff's a little bit behind, but he's got to learn to fight for that position and gain that mentality. I think this is the best chance at a championship right now.
Yeah.
He's loved by the fans as well, just for those previous 2-3 seasons that he had. I think he just needs to get his head screwed on as well.
Now's the time, as you said.
Can I throw in one more player
Yeah,
with a
definitely.
question mark?
Got it.
Villena.
Yeah.
I've always liked Villena. I've always liked Villena.
Question mark, as you said.
He played very well against Panserraikos. He played very well.
For his caliber and quality,
Should be, yeah.
you should see him in games like against PAOK or Olympiacos, where he's one of the top 3 players.
That's like Bernard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it.
I agree with you on that point. I've generally liked Villena. I don't think he's done as bad as what people make him out to be. I think his best position, his best playing style is that disruptor. But against Panserraikos, he became more of a ball player and things were coming off for him. There were some things that I was actually like, okay, he's got that in his bag. I was impressed with those things.
I think it's fair to say he's improved, albeit slightly, from the start of the season.
I wouldn't
Very,
say
not like Yedvay or Kotsiras style improvement.
Yeah, Yedvay, he was not great at the start, but
No.
I'll be the first to admit that I'm very pleased to see him playing really well. So first to put my hand up to that. With Villena, I don't think he's been bad, but he hasn't been great. And I expect him to be great. No, he came with big fanfare. He's got a bloody awesome CV.
Yeah.
And that's one, like Bacaseta, in a short time he's been here, he has lived up to the standard we expect from him. And you can see the difference he has on the pitch, whereas Villena, I haven't seen any of that. He hasn't sort of radiated that confidence in our midfield that say, yep, I feel good knowing he's on the pitch.
Yeah, no, I can't argue against that. Something I've noticed very interesting though is the TD's been on the bench, Papadimitriou,
Yeah.
and he's being very vocal against referees. So either he's not a Terim favorite, so he's just trying to be a cheerleader,
Look busy.
provocateur, because he's appeared very animated on the bench.
That's because Terim's taken a spreadsheet off him in terms of his Moneyball transfer tactics. Right? Terim's now got that. He's actually getting good players for us.
Yeah.
So Papadimitriou has to find something to do, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he's become like a cheerleader, very animated on the bench. He did, and the cameras are panning to him as well. So I saw it against PAOK, and I think there was a previous game, I think at Tromitos as well, where he's been very animated.
He's told this social media kid, film me when you do the videos.
A highlights package
Yes.
when Terim dismisses him. But yeah, overall, looking at player developments, you're looking also on team development. Touched on it as well. I spoke about it, and there's a post on it that the combinations are now working. They're in sync. Saw it against Olympiacos, the Bacaseta assist to Jean-Majeff. Saw that in full flight, how that triangle worked between Seren and Bacacetas. You got Bacacetas hanging a little bit to the right. If you look at heat maps, that Bacacetas operates. He operates more of a center right attacking mid wing. And yeah, teams are not picking that up. We've got the overlaps. You got the Kortilas Vayanidis just bombing down the wings on one side. You got Mladenovic, Juanca, bit hesitant on. I think he's looking very exposed lately. I've been saying we need a left back because I think that's our Achilles heel at the moment is that left back. While Mladenovic held his own against PAOK, I'm not too sure he can continue and pick it up. We can rely on Mladenovic Juanca to be exposed come playoffs.
Rumor was for Giannoulis again.
Yeah, that's going to be dependent on Norwich's season, if
Yeah,
they're Premier League or not. They'll make the playoffs, but whether they're good or if they make the playoffs, whether they're good enough or not to make it to the next round. So Giannoulis is the interesting option. I'd even look at Zagaridis, be like a Vayanidis 2.0, but on the left-hand side.
I was going to say Vayanidi hasn't had a good run. Injuries have sort of disrupted him somewhat. He hasn't been able to establish himself under Terim.
They're really targeting him physically. They're giving him some really late dirty hits.
So,
Nick, you're a bit tired there.
Yeah.
4 a.m.
Early morning.
4 a.m. wake ups.
Yeah.
It does that. But yeah, no, you're right. Vayanidis has been a little bit hurt, but he's getting targeted a lot. It's the only way to slow him down is to just go dirty on him. But he's been playing well, and Kortilas has been playing well. I think the experiment of Kortilas playing that defensive mid will stop now. The PAOK game, I think with that PAOK game, he got exposed. With the healthy players coming back, he's not required to go back there unless we're throwing something around. But he did play against Ceres as an 8, hybrid 8-10 in between them two. If you saw his positioning was very it was more attacking than a 6. It was an 8, but he was pushing more into that 10 role. I think kind of that Bakasetas positioning, hanging more on the right. That was interesting. He also had the chance to score. He had that good shot. He got today.
Both games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good shot. It got deflected, if I recall.
Yeah.
Top of the net. Yeah.
And Ceres, he had a chance.
Yeah. Because he came, they let him run with the ball and he just took his shot straight at the keeper. But, well, good attack, good spacing that he had there. So, interesting run coming up ahead. And, be interesting to see selections because, once again, we're going to have another week of congested fixtures where we'll have a game this weekend, PAOK, another game. Then we'll have 3 weeks without.
No. Artis is a midweek game.
Kidding me?
Yeah. Artis is midweek. What's going to hopefully help us is the international break coming up next month.
Artis is match day 25, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Thursday. Yeah. All right.
It's never. And then the playoffs is going to be the same. How Terim's experienced enough to manage the squad, how he manages the players, it's going to be pivotal to our chances.
All right. So fixture congestion is in full swing.
Full swing. It's gonna be like this. It's Bolemo it's on now from now until May.
Yeah.
So when's the break? Mid-March?
Late
March, okay.
20-something. 22nd, 23rd.
The last game of the season is the 4th of March. So do the playoffs start and then we go.
Yeah, right after.
Yeah. So we got 5 games in the next 3 weeks?
We got 5 games at the moment in 3 weeks. So that's including the 4 league games and a cup game.
Yep.
So plenty of content to talk about with the podcast. But let's move on to basketball, because I think with soccer we know what's expected. It's every game's pretty much a final from here on.
Yeah.
Every game's a final for the top 4 teams, or teams that are trying to survive as well.
But like we said, if we can go into it with that confidence now, we don't have to fear anyone. That for me, that says it all.
Yeah.
Again, I hate the comparison. We will go to the basketball, but if we had Terim earlier, we'd still be in Europe.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right.
I've come to around to that. The way Terry makes his adjustments, his game plan, game management, more than a plan A, stick to plan A until it fails completely. Terim, I feel, would have kept us in Europe. That's not miss what Yova's done for the club. He's built the foundations. He built the patience.
Yeah, no, that's right.
He brought them in and put the club in the right path. It was just unfortunate that he couldn't take them then to that next level.
So in terms of basketball, I think we got a break this weekend. The EuroLeague's not on, but I know Sturge, you mentioned talk of a new stadium.
Yeah, looks like DPG came out with the conversation that the new Owaka Stadium, it's called it Giant, has been announced. It looks pretty impressive if you look at the image displayed. I'll share the screen as well and just show you what the design looks like. It's just like the outside what they're planning on building. So they're looking at building urban park. There's going to be a Panatha headquarters, building a house of basketball as well. This picture doesn't show the inside, the presentation that Yanakopoulos. It did. Yeah, so it's on this website called BN Sports, but you'll probably find it on all Greek websites what the concept will look like. The outside looks like a bit of a bubble, like the Allianz Arena in Germany, in Munich. So it looks interesting. Check it out. It's obviously a move forward. Looks like the Panathinaikos basketball team will be based there. The football team, just don't know what's going to happen with what's happening at Botanicos. The last I read was the bulldozing costs were underestimated from 5 million. They were meant to be 15 million. So who knows what's going to happen there. But Botanicos doesn't play Real for until the 1st of March. We do have the cup game against AEK tomorrow morning. We just played them now in the league, which we actually they kept it a little bit close. They kept it a little bit close at one point, I think in the by like 6 points at one point, but then we just blew them out in that fourth quarter, 89-69. So we do play them again in the cup. Then we got a looks like a bit of a break in terms of what games are being played. Not sure if there's the Olympic qualifiers or the World Cup, the qualifiers, or one of those qualifiers that's happening, because next time it's Real Madrid on the 1st of March.
I think it's the European qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken, because I know the Olympic qualifiers.
Yeah,
they're doing the pre-tournament qualifiers across several countries, and I know Athens is going to host us. I think it's Slovenia maybe in our group for that. But going back to Panathinaikos, I think the EuroLeague's definitely got a break this weekend. I think Ataman did make a comment about how he doesn't see the cup as a priority. Yeah, but he wants to really concentrate on the league and also on EuroLeague as well. But in saying that though, we've got been given good rotation to players like Galanzaki and Costa under the Gumbo, and they've been doing it really well, and they're getting more and more regular minutes in the EuroLeague too. So, I think there's no reason why in the cup game against AEK we can't continue that same thing and give some of the younger players a run, but also someone like a Vildozo who probably needs to get a bit more form under him too, coming back from injury. So look, I'm not worried about the result or the outcome, but it's probably more just making sure that we don't push none too hard in terms of minutes in such games, and also Lesor as well. He probably is a little bit more injury prone.
Yeah. And we're seeing Papa Petro coming back, getting
That's
limited minutes as well.
a good
Uh,
point. He needs to get more form. He needs to get more rhythm because he's come off a long layoff, and you see he's a fair way off where he needs to be in terms of form.
yeah, and I expect a win here. I expect a comfortable win against AEK. But then we had Fenerbahce on the weekend in the EuroLeague. That one we didn't know what to expect because of our injuries announced. That one was deemed we might actually lose that home game. They beat us in Turkey in the first game, and they was it like 15 points. I think they absolutely smashed us, and we turned it around and we absolutely belted them in Greece. Yeah, might might say belted. We won by 11, but we we didn't let them in at all. From the second quarter onwards, the first quarter looked like we are going to be in for a long night. You know, then in that second quarter, we outscored them 25-9, and we never looked back after that. We just we are just in beast mode. Kendrick Nunn was the standout, and Lesor, our two best players, hands down. Uh, got a very vital win, and we moved back to third. And with how the EuroLeague is, that ladder is super tight, super tight. So you got Real Madrid that's coasting; they're four wins ahead of Barcelona, who are sitting second. So you got Real Madrid on 22 wins, you got Barcelona on 18, and we're third with three other teams. Oh, sorry, two other teams, Monaco and Bologna. We are ahead of those teams based on two criteria. The most important one is head to head. And secondly, our for and against points differentiation is greater than them two teams. So we do have Real Madrid, which I don't think we're expected to win there. They're just miles ahead of the competition at the moment.
We've got a very difficult run home for our remaining games in the regular season. So it's great that we were in the top four. But I do anticipate we'll probably have a few losses in this run. So yeah, we need to see where we do finish up. Yeah, it's very hard to predict. But
We got Real Madrid. Real Madrid. We got Barcelona. We play Olympiacos away. Red Star Belgrade away. Those are tough games.
from what I read though, the Barcelona game, which is still a few weeks away, is already sold out.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that we can get a sellout weeks in advance. It shows how much the fans are now behind this team and enjoying how well they're playing.
And
Beliefs there.
DPG as well.
Yep. But if I go back to the Fenerbahce game, and you're right in terms of calling out Nunn and Lasor in terms of them being, two of our best players, but Zaki, from what I remember, he actually did turn around that game early on, in terms of applying the defense and disrupting their players. So, it's good to get a young Greek player getting that kudos and getting that respect. He's not the complete player like they say. He's not a regular scorer like a Kendrick Nunn, let's say, but that defense and his ability to influence a game, got to call that out. Very impressive with that.
Yeah. No, you're right there. You're right there. But let's hope that Mitchell, one of our boys, was lucky enough to score. I know he's in uni exam time. Hopefully, he's scored tickets. We'll have to get him in again into these podcasts. And with that, do you guys have anything on a final note? Anything you guys want to discuss? Anything you want to put out there?
Just job well done. Again, you can't praise the players and the coach enough for the turnaround. That from going from the most important week of the season to this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pour myself a dinner now.
And tomorrow morning, Bugatsa. Again.
Yeah, I think we're in a positive mindset. A few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we're in a doom and gloom. Season could be over. It's on life support, and now there's confidence. There's real confidence in the air. Results, performances as well. While we're not essentially dominating Olympiacos, absolutely dominating PAOK. We're putting in professional displays and we're putting in a good display against these teams. And you see Terim's tinkering, his match plan.
Homework.
Yeah, they're all coming to fruition. That's a sign of a good coach, good coaching network that he's got around him to make those adjustments to get the game plan right. Yeah, there's many game plans with him. It's not just as simple, straightforward. What we have seen, there's more of a complex style to that game plan, and the fans are benefiting it. So we'll get to see how Lil Fortis now responds on the next game.
Well, it's going to be a party atmosphere, I think, for Lamia, and it's going to build leading up nicely to that big game, the crunch game against Bulk, the return leg of the Cup semi.
Yeah.
This time last season, Metorzori 1-0. That's a distant memory now.
It is.
We're coming at the business end of the season with momentum, with form now.
And quite a few of those games were via penalties.
Yeah.
Now it's not. Yeah, the penalties have almost dried up a bit, but
I have.
we should have gotten a few. Maybe against Ike was the definite one. Got the one against Bulk, which was a clear one, which Lucescu was saying he couldn't believe it was given. Let me stamp on him and see how he falls over.
He tried blaming the refs again. Also, quickly before we wrap up on him, the father. You guys remember what his father said?
Yeah,
That his son won't lose a derby against Terim.
he's already.
That's
already-
long gone. But I looked into it. I reckon this beef with Panathinaikos and Terim, it goes back to the father. They've replaced each other. When one's gotten sacked, the others come in. At Galatasaray and the Turkish national team.
Oh, there you go.
I
So-
reckon that plays a role as well. On top of the cup, the 2022 Greek Cup final.
It's all right. Let him stew.
Yeah.
Let him burn in terms of his own little
Choke on a bugatsa.
dishes.
Terim was quite a bit animated. There was this moment where he let off a bit of a swearing going on. Put it in a nice way. That was captured. So, and I think it was towards Lucescu. So, I think that's a start of a big rivalry between Panathinaikos and PAOK. Yeah. And to sign off, it looks like our friend Eric Palmer Brown has
Yes.
been ruled out for the rest of the season, which is quite unfortunate.
Oh, they've actually made an announcement to that effect?
Yes.
Yes.
Announced
He's out for the season.
What do we know why?
No.
Is he
Whatever
is
he's got, it ended up being pretty serious. So they did say he's out for the season. He's doing the same rehab program with Magnuson.
Well, I'm going to start the theory that he's been abducted by aliens. So if they're not going to give us any good reason, I'm going to go with that.
You can find him on Instagram liking Pokemon posts, and George Garlaftis posts as well, who our boy George, big Panatha fan, won the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. So well done. But Eric Palmer Brown giving him a like as well. So you can find him on Instagram liking some weird stuff. So
Well, look, if Eric Palmer Brown is watching this podcast, we'd love for you to join us next time around and just come and tell us what's the matter. Yeah, and there's a theory out there about being abducted by aliens. Come and tell us it's not true.
or give our Instagram post a like. That would be nice as well. And we can wrap it up with that. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy.